All right, boxing fans, we are here with now 4-weight division champ Jeff Fenech from Australia in beautiful Acapulco. Jeff, first of all, welcome to the 60th WBC convention, which is actually just ending now. But how did you find your time here?
I always love it. It's like I said, for me, it's being with family, friends, and people that I am excited to see. So it's a great time for me.
Now, at the opening dinner earlier in the week, it was quite a great surprise for everybody, and I'm not sure if you knew in advance or you were surprised, but WBC President Mauricio Suleiman explained that a panel was called together and they reviewed your first fight with Azumah Nelson from 31 years ago, and they scored that fight, and they felt that they were correcting an injustice and awarded you the title that many around the world felt was wrongfully denied you. Talk about that, how you felt about it, and everything that went along with that.
Certainly it was 31 years late, but I look at life this way, and I think that if I would have won that title, would I have been the person I am today? And I know I wouldn't have been. I know what fame and success does to you, so maybe it was just a blessing that I didn't get it back then, which I know I won the fight. Azumah Nelson knows. You know, if two people have a fight, you know who punches each other up the most in the fight. So I have no quarries or doubt that I won the fight. I got it 31 years later, and maybe because it was for a reason. Like I said, I really am. I'm married now. I'm the happiest guy in the world, a beautiful wife. Would I have been married if I won that fight world title? Maybe not. You know, things all happen for a reason. I really say that. So of course, I'm delighted. I'm delighted to see that. The WBC have done something special, not just for me, but for boxing. I think if you look on my Facebook page, there's millions and millions of people who viewed the fight. Maybe there's 50 or 100 people from Ghana who say I lost. But I don't begrudge or anything, because Azumah Nelson is truly a great fighter. But I won the first fight quite convincing. If you look at the footage of what's being shown at the moment, you'll see Jose Suleiman telling me straight to my face that I won the fight. He told me, you won, don't worry, I'm sorry, champ, you won the fight. You can see him talking to me. So I have no problems with what happened, except all I can say is thank you. It's amazing. It's made me feel great 31 years later. So, but still, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. Now, because that fight went the way it did, and then of course you had a rematch in Australia, and things didn't go the way you wanted in that fight. Many years later, you and Azumah actually locked horns again and did a third fight.
That was not a fight. We're old men, you know.
Yeah.
But let me just say something. Anybody can say, and a lot of the Africans, look what happened in the rematch. That wasn't me in the rematch. And I thought I was going to win the fight. I'd won the first fight hands down easily, and it wasn't a hard fight for me. And I just thought I was going to win. And no disrespect to Azumah, because amazing that he came back to Australia for me and beat me. There's no doubt about that. But what you got to think of, if they gave me that decision in the first fight, I would have been fighting Azumah Nelson again. I was moving up another weight division. My dream was to fight Pernell Whitaker. So Azumah wouldn't have got a chance to fight me again if I won my first fight. So
there was no. I was going to ask you, going into that first fight, do you recall if there was a rematch clause?
No, there was no rematch clause. There was no rematch clause at all. Like I said, and again, had it been a close fight, of course I would have loved to give you a rematch. When you win 10 rounds out of 12, nobody deserves a rematch, and nobody deserves to get a draw. And like I said, that's what happens in the fights these days. You see these people after the fight, they go around, both guys are putting their hands up. You know, two guys, we just built the hell out of each other. But I know if you hit me more than I hit you, I know how I felt, and I know if I won the fight. The sport's pretty stupid today when I see the bell rings and somebody's won like 10 rounds or whatever, and the other guy still puts his hands up, hoping that these judges are going to do something stupid.
Yeah. Now, you give him credit for winning that second fight. But you also said that wasn't you in that fight. Did you? You went in feeling you were going to win, but
of course I thought I was going to win. I thought I was going to win easily. I was the story of before that fight. I'm no trainer, but I also done a lot of things wrong, like sleep with 4 or 5 girls every day. That was the norm for me back then. I was just superhero, this huge Australian But like I said, they got carried away with success. And yeah, like I said, fame and fortune changes everybody, and it certainly changed me. But like I said, I'll never make an excuse about Azumah beating me. He beat me. He was better prepared. He done what he was supposed to do to win the fight. But like I said, go back to fight one, and not for any reason, but had I won, why do I have to fight him again? There was no rematch clause. I fight him, I move up a weight division, and I won. So there's no doubt in my mind that, yeah, like I said, everything happens for a reason. God does not always give you what you want. He gives you what you need. And I got what I needed then back then. Like I said, I have no regrets about the draw. I have, of course, I'm cranky at the judges and the referee, because they were totally on his side. But I am, like I said, everything in life happens for a reason. I'm a better person for it. I've learned so much more about life through losing than I ever did through winning. And yeah, it made me a better person. It's grounded on me today. And like I said, I love Azumah Nelson. I think he's one of the greatest humans that God put on the planet. But like I said, I'm a different person here. Like I said, he didn't win the fight. Like celebrate as if he won the fight. To this day, he still says that. Forget about what he done to me in the second fight. We're talking about the first fight. Like I said, Mum, hands up, man. I lost the second fight. I got knocked out, first of my life. But I said that wasn't the Jeff Fenech that he fought in the first fight.
Yeah. Now, a lot of your fans around the world that watched that first fight and then followed your career for the remainder thereafter felt that just the effect of that draw and getting outright robbed in that fight kind of affected you for the rest of your career, because the way your career went after that was totally different from the first part of your career. Do you agree with that, or do you feel that it just affected you?
Well, no doubt I wasn't the same after. No doubt I wasn't the same. Why? I don't know. I can't say it was because of A, B, C, D. But I do know that, that something left me after that fight. Again, maybe it's because I got money and notoriety and everything else that came with it, but I certainly wasn't the same fighter. Yeah. And like I said, I've never made an excuse, and I'll never say that Azumah Nelson didn't whip my ass in the second fight, because he did. But in the first fight, I whipped his ass. And he wants to say they said he had malaria and stuff in the first fight. If he's trying to let him fight with malaria, he should never be allowed in the corner again. If the doctor let him fight with malaria, he should never be allowed to be a doctor again. So, I don't need to make excuses. I know what happened to me. I was beaten by a better man. I was beaten by one of the greatest African fighters, or maybe the greatest African fighter in history. I'm proud to say that I stepped in the ring with that man. Whether I won or lost, I'm just proud to be in the ring. But I do know, 91, when I fought Azumah Nelson in Las Vegas, I definitely was victorious. And I've got a belt which, like I said, 31 years later, it means to me that an injustice was made, corrected. And I'm proud to be that person that is the pallbearer, the leader of that stuff. It should happen all the time. I mean, we have technology today to do anything we want. We can look at a fight again. Let's look at these fights. Listen, what needs to be done is one thing. If we want to get boxing right, it's the most simplest thing in the world. When a promoter promotes a fight, the judges and the referee get there the day of the fight, or the day before. They don't get wined and dined by the promoter. They just go to their room, they stay in their room, they meet the reading of the rules, the way and all that kind of stuff. And there's the red corner and blue corner. There's not Don King's fighter and somebody from Australia that nobody knows. There's just a red corner and a blue corner, and then boxing will be better.
Yeah. Do you think that would set a good precedent, say in another fight, whether it's a huge fight or not, goes the way it went with you? And do you think that's a good precedent to maybe review afterwards, or maybe because it was really scoring, they weren't looking at was that a punch or a headbutt that caused a cut or whatever, but it was a changing of subjective scoring. Do you think that would cause some cries of why does this guy get preferential treatment, or do you think it's
the first thing you have to do is I don't deserve anything, but what I do deserve is to have some competent people that are sitting ringside. And those guys were cheats. They were incompetent because they let their emotions, they let the fact that they knew Azumah Nelson, nobody knew who Jeff Fenech was, and they didn't give a rat's ass about this little Aussie guy that upset the world, that proved everybody wrong, and they done what their conscience. That's Don King's fighter, So it's simple. If I take you out to dinner tonight and wine you and dine you, and then you got to do something for me tomorrow, you don't think, he was really nice to me last night. That's not in your mind. Of course it is. So these guys done the wrong thing, and they should be the ones that are punished. They should be the ones that aren't allowed to referee or judge the next week. They should be put in a box for a while and say, listen, if you're not going to do the right thing, you don't have the job. And that's when boxing will be better.
Well, Jeff, you mentioned that a lot of people didn't know you before then. Some of us did. I certainly did. Followed you from the Olympics on, and as an American fight fan, I was always interested in guys that were from other countries not getting the coverage, not winding up on the cover of Ring and KO magazine, and always followed guys like you and Brian Mitchell and Galaxy from Thailand, because I had my fill of American fighters and wanted to see guys from overseas that I felt worked just as hard, were just as good as the American fighters.
Listen, and when I fought. It wasn't like had a round on, a round off. It was like full steam ahead. And in the 12th round, when the commentator said, what's he trying to do? He's like, I've got him 7 points in front. He should be trying to I still want to knock Azumah Nelson out. And if it was one more round, I would have. And if they didn't hide his mouth guard in his trainer's pocket, I would have knocked him out. Simple. I just tell the truth. Yeah. Why did his cornerman put the mouth guard in his pocket? He needed a rest. In his pocket. You can see him take it out of his pocket. But like I said, for me, that's great. That's great corner work. That's smart as. I'd do it for my fight really if I could and get away with it. And they got away with it. But it was in his pocket. He didn't hide it. He didn't lose no mouth guard. But Azumah still wanted to fight because he's a champion. He's an out-and-out champion. Like I said, look at the last punch of the 12th round and see who holds him up. Me. I hold Azumah up. Yeah, give me 13 rounds. Give me the old time 15 rounds. I'll show what I've done to Azumah. But anyway, like I said, everything's history. Whatever happened today is, like I said, or this week, I think it was a great thing for boxing. I think it's to show that, I mean, lots of other guys want to do this now. But it just sets a precedent that, it's not all, sport's not all shit. It can come back and do something nice. I think this is amazing because, like I said, it wasn't a close fight. It was a close fight. I wouldn't even worry about it. But I know how many rounds I won, and I won at least 10. People thought I lost the first round. I don't know, count the punches. Because you hear the commentator saying something, and all they were talking about was Azumah Nelson. Because again, he was this little guy from Australia, but nobody thought I had a chance.
Yeah. So, in addition to this, this wonderful occurrence here that happened, life is good back in Australia for Jeff Fenech?
I'm blessed. I have my wife here. I have like 20 odd people here that came and watched me receive this, and they just love boxing, and we're all having a great time. I said it's amazing that in life you just continue. And like I said, for me, getting to 31 years later is most probably getting it at a better time for my life, and I'll appreciate it more than what I did back then, because like I said, I just know what fame and fortune does. I've been through it. I was undefeated, 3-time world champion, and I thought I could do whatever I wanted. I thought I was the king of the world, and that brought me back to normality, the draw and then the loss. So I'm more than happy, and like I said, I'll never ever say a bad word about Azumah Nelson. I think that, again, he's probably the greatest ever African fighter, and for him to have the courage and audacity just to jump on a plane and come back to Australia in front of 40,000 people and say he was going to beat me, and he did, was a huge statement. But like I said, he can say what he wants, and that wasn't the Jeff Fenech that fought Marcus Villasana or Mario Martinez. Ask those guys. I mean, we fought the same fighters. Go and see how many rounds Villasana won against him. Go and see how many won against me. None. Go and see how many rounds Mario Martinez won against me. One round when he knocked me down. Other 11 rounds, all mine. Azumah Nelson had split decisions against those guys and they thought they beat him as well. So I mean, listen, again, against nothing to do because styles make fights. But I know what I've done that day, and I know what I could do in the boxing. I don't need no belts to say what I've done. Like I said, I'm absolutely honoured that WBC done that. I don't need belts. I don't need a fourth time. I know that I won the fight, and the people know. There's over 3 million people that have watched a fight. Like I said, 50 people have said that I lost, but they're from Ghana. Of course, they're going to support their hero, and good luck, and so they should. But I know I won the fight.
Yeah, good stuff, Jeff. And any parting words to your fans that you still have all around the world that remember you from those days and want to know what you're up to now?
Well, I'm training some young boxers, Hass Hamden, Brocky Jarvis, who had just his first loss after 20 wins. So like I said, everything happens for a reason. We're going to go back to the drawing board and make sure it doesn't happen again. But like I said, I'm happy trying to give something back to the sport. And not just back to the sport, I want to give back to the people, not who have just supported Jeff Fenech, but who need help in this world. Hopefully, in Australia, I'm known as a very generous person that helps everybody. And that's who I want to be. I want to be able to use my fame and fortune to make sure they can help other people be better.
All right, Jeff, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your time here, and
so
have a safe trip back to Australia.